Man, I'll give you all an update. I'll just jump right into it. There's so much stuff that's happening and, you know, things that I want to talk about. I'm okay. I'm definitely stressed. We're okay now more than we've been over the past couple days, just because we actually have power back. But at the same time, it's like we have to be super alert at all times. Long story short, for people that don't know, there's an absolute insane fire, probably one of the most devastating fires in like the country's history, happening right now. There was like 5 to 6 fires happening at one time. It's incredibly dry. And then all of a sudden earlier in the year, earlier this week, we had like catastrophically high winds. So like our neighborhoods are just destroyed from the winds, like hurricane level winds. It was nuts. And you can't get any close to it. You can't be over there. All I can see is like the smoke from it. And we're on the opposite side of all that stuff, but still it's like, holy shit, dude. And then there's other fires happening across the way, and to be real, all of that shit all kind of started at the same time because the winds were insane. When that was all going down, we're just sitting here like, holy shit, like, what's gonna stop this thing? And hoping that things will get better, but the winds just kept getting worse and worse, and we're getting like 100-mile-an-hour gusts in friggin' LA of all places. So it was really like nothing like I've ever seen, with the driest it's ever been. And then once the water mains either ran out of pressure or they were out of water or some infrastructure stopped working because the demand is so high, guess what you don't have? You don't have air support. So it's like over. Like you literally can't, like you have one of the most expensive places on earth literally just burning. And you can't do anything because you have no air support. So that complements my second part of the story about where I'm at. So that just kept getting worse. This fire just kept pushing and it kept moving. Went from like, you know, a few thousand acres to like 20,000 acres like that. And it started torching. And the winds kept kicking up. So the other day, still without power, we're all just like using up our phones, just keeping an idea. Do we need to move? Just watching the smoke, watching the fire in the mountains get faster and faster. We're like, Jesus, dude. Bam, another fire pops up. Bam, another fire pops up. Like, holy shit, it's a disaster. These winds and the dryness out here was just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So we found ourselves yesterday pincered between multiple fires. Ones that were jumping between like, you know, 90 acres, and I update the app and it's like 2,000 acres. I'm like, oh my fucking God. And everyone looks out their window and just sees huge black plumes of smoke, and it's covering the sky, and all this shit is happening. It's like, and you have like one fire and then the other, and like all this shit's going down. You're like, God damn. And yeah, bam, and alarms go off. Everything starts warning you. All right, time to start packing. So we were getting ready to get out. Simmons already pieced out. We got the evacuation warning and all this shit was happening. So family was getting ready to go. I was spending as much effort and time as I could, hosing down the roof and everything like that of my place and my neighbor's place, trying to get everything done as much as possible. So, yeah, like when we're just watching this black smoke cover the entirety of it, was like, oh my God, dude, like it was scary as shit because it didn't care. Luckily, an extremely lucky, that was a false alarm for some people. It wasn't for us. Like for the regions that we were in, we were directly affected by, I could see the smoke, dude. And I was like, what the? But that warning went out to like everybody. So guess what it did? It caused this like absolute countywide panic suddenly, because everyone looked out their window and they might not have been needing to evacuate, but all of a sudden people see huge black plume of smoke, like a bomb just dropped, and they're like, oh shit. So all of the roads are jammed. To cut this story, you know, short, firefighters destroyed it. Like they killed it, dude. As soon as that thing happened, much different to what happened on the first day of these fires and the second day, that fire was like almost immediately, it's not even contained yet, but it was prevented from making forward progress. And like I said, completely different from the first day. They had air support. I'm hearing them right now. There's choppers just left and then right and then left and then right. and they're going over to the Palisades fire and then going over to the other fires and this one, this. They're like nonstop, like picking up all the water from the lakes and stuff like that, you know? It goes to show where it's like, oh yeah, we just didn't let the most expensive like place on the planet just burn and other neighborhoods just burn. Like the priority of firefighters and, you know, public safety is to keep houses safe, right? Is to keep people and their homes safe. It's the priority number one. But when you have like catastrophic level winds preventing people from getting in the air for air support, which is literally what stops most fires, you can't do anything. Like they were just locked out. And it goes to show, it's like, oh yeah, if these fires weren't locked out, we'd be fucked. Like we'd be super fucked. Is it true? The Hollywood sign burned down. So the absolute worst thing that's ever happened as a result of living around and with people has been social media and what people are reading on the internet and people's access to information. I swear to God, it's gotten people killed. People are reading the most bullshit where I've had neighbors and I try to warn them, do not go anywhere right now. You need to stay. And where they're getting their information from is like, oh my God, no, please go download this app and then pay attention to the app. It's crazy. And these are like elderly people and shit. Like, to be honest, like watching not the most respectable of like news and shit, making rash decisions based on it. It's like, holy fuck, please just read this. So anyway, yeah, Watch Duty literally saved like so many people. That app is godlike. Like it's updated every minute. It shows you videos. Like the only reason I got to like advise neighbors and stuff not to make some really stupid decisions was because that app has access to all the cameras on the mountains and shit, where it's like, hey, you know, you can see where it is. It's right there. Like, do not go that way. You're about to run into like the absolute gridlock traffic in between a fire. Like that is not smart, dude. Right? It's wonderful that the community comes together and actually is helping each other out in a large variety of ways, all across LA. But like the amount of ridiculous disinformation and where people are getting their news from, and what they're reading. I'm like, wait a minute, where did you read that? Like people are just getting information from like Twitter posts and Facebook and shit, and they just think it's real. Like it's nuts, dude. I just got to say, you see some absolutely idiotic posts, because I have to read Twitter for some things about people around me and what they're going through, like in the Santa Monica mountains and shit. And some people just like with 100,000 likes and God knows how many retweets, how stupid California is because they don't use the ocean water. Like you're next to an ocean. And I'm like, people don't know. People have never heard the term salt the earth. Like literally ran into people. I saw it on Twitter, and then somebody was panicked talking about all of this stuff, and no kidding, they're just like, why don't they just take water from the ocean? And it's like, if you do that, like life goes away. Like if you do that, like the planet dies in that area. So anyway, and that's the thing. They eventually started to have to do that because there was no other fucking options. But it's like the ultimate last like resort is to use ocean water, because you salt the earth, it dies. It's been something else. It's been really eye-opening, and I just feel extremely lucky is all I'm going to say. Feel extremely lucky. I was at the point where it's like we go away for 30 minutes to go like drop something off at a friend's house, and then we come back and all of a sudden, what the fuck is that? And it's like on the complete other side where the fire normally is. Fire's still over there, right? What the hell is that? And I look it up. This is the problem, dude. Like the California is a dry as shit place right now. It always rains. It always rains in January. Always rains in January. It's like constantly wet and soggy at the beginning of the year, and it's not now. Like it's so fucking dry. My lips are chapped just by talking. So that in combined with some of the most like powerful winds, it was over, dude. I was talking to some friends I haven't seen in a while, because this is happening to all of us around here. right now, like the greatest threat to whatever's happening in California at all points is fires. Like fires is the worst threat in NorCal, SoCal, like all that kind of shit. And it has been that way for quite a long time. It used to be earthquakes. It really was. Earthquakes were the thing we always prepared for. 100%. Earthquakes were constantly the thing that we were like preparing for and going to school and having prep drills for earthquakes. Like that was even before the 94 earthquake, you know, like it was even before that shit. The speed at which those firefighters knocked that shit out was crazy. It was an immediate, within 30 minutes of it existing, my home is in danger and this could be it, to suddenly 45 minutes later, white smoke. And we're like, oh shit, what's happening? And then somebody fires up the news on their phone because nobody has TVs. And I show people, I'm like, watch, this is the Skycam footage. It's actually good. We're okay. So that was like, and those all compacted into like less than 2 hours of just like extreme stress. And then we have to go back into our house, which is completely dark. You know, now we all seclude to the darkness for another night and just have our phones right next to us in case something blares out. But today seems a lot better. The only issue, it's not over yet. The only issue is that those mountains are ablaze in the distance right now. They are ablaze. And they are like cooking through the mountains at the moment, dude. They are absolutely cooking through all of the Santa Monica Mountains. So we're just waiting. It's a point now where it's like they're trying to put a perimeter around that shit and get it stopped. We're prepared to go at any point if we need to. Most of anybody in the valley, just in general, is not doing particularly good because of like the air quality. And that can change depending on where the wind is going, and the wind's been haphazard as fuck, dude. It's been something else. We're okay. We're just stressed. We're okay. Ripley's been going to school the past couple of days. I've been with JJ, going with her. And the schools are staying open longer because, you know, people are so displaced. Like, here's the thing. I am doing swimmingly, dude. I have a home. We have power again. Any threat that was to my house, my community, my friends, like anything like that, is not nearly as severe. It's just that we're waiting to see where this thing goes. Now we were like worried about a thing because we were looking at thing and all of our power is down. All of a sudden, several more fires pop up around us, and it's like, holy shit, dude. So it was like, oh God. And then those got put out really fast, or at least like halted really fast. And it's like, okay, so now we're back to worrying about the original thing. Now we're back to like looking out the window and the mountain's on fire. And we just got to wait to see where this eventually goes. I appreciate any sympathy coming towards my end, but to be real, it should be going towards people that have been directly affected, or they've had family members or, you know, themselves been directly impacted, like their homes actually, you know, taken from them or something like that. We got close. We got lucky that we had air support in the time that was available, because many houses didn't. They just didn't.